Heyo and welcome back to my channel. I am so sorry for how long it's been. I've been very busy and also very gone, so I just didn't want to have to worry about this. I didn't want to have to bother with this, but my schedule is doing a lot better and more on top of things, and I will again have a spare 10 minutes to actually record these. So I will try to go back to being consistent. I'm so sorry. Well, today I'm here again with some random musings. One thing I've been thinking a lot about is, I guess, like personal responsibility, like how I am responsible for my own actions, my own reactions. I don't know, like looking at my life, I honestly think there's not one thing, this is talking about emotionally and spiritually, there's not one thing that I can point a finger and say they did that to me. I think that people's unkind actions, the wrong things that everyone else does to me, I cannot hold them responsible for how that affects me. Which is very interesting because I have always liked to play the victim and the martyr. Feel like here I am trying to live a good life and look at all these ways that people have hurt and scarred me and ruined me, but look at me being so strong and hopeful. Thank you, God, that you're helping me work through that and heal from that. But a long time ago, Tasha was telling me about something her professor told her, and I was like, oh, that's so weird, but I think I kind of agree with him. He was saying everything you do because you want to. Maybe you don't feel like you want to, but like you want it more than any of the other options. If you really didn't want to do something, maybe you would do the other thing, but if someone held a gun to your head and said, hey, no, do thing number one, and you do thing number one, you don't want to, but you want to more than you want to die. So like, you want to, given your circumstances. It's super weird, but I really think that I agree with that. Like, we do things because we want to. Unless you're like demon possessed, I think that you're responsible for all of your reactions. That's a whole nother topic, but which makes sense of how God can hold us accountable on Judgment Day, because you can't be like, oh, but I'm hurt and scarred because that person was mean to me when I was 5. My parents didn't take good enough care of me. It's like, yeah, but you're responsible for the way that you react to that. You're responsible for your response. And don't take this in the way of like, it's your fault for everything that's wrong with you. So like, don't ask for help because you're responsible, you need to fix it. Or you need to feel super guilty for everything that's wrong with you because it's your fault. Not to say that. I was gonna go somewhere encouraging with that, so don't stop on that thought. But so I was thinking that, they're like, we really do choose the way that we respond to things. Therefore, people's unkind actions do not have to hurt me, do not have to damage me irreparably. Like, if someone betrays me, it is my choice how I respond to that. If I decide to never trust anyone ever again and shut myself off from love and community, that's on me. Or I can choose not to. Like, them betraying me does not have to shut me down and close me off from everyone forever. And if my parents were not kind to me, that doesn't mean that I can just never forgive them and always have a broken relationship there. It's like, no, I am responsible for the way that I respond to that. I can reach out, I can be kind, and I can trust God to heal that relationship. If someone abuses me, yes, that's very scarring, but there's a way to move past that. It's not like what they did to you defines you now. Like, nothing that anyone puts on you, you have to carry forever. You are responsible for how you respond to that, and you can respond in a way that leads towards hope, in a way that leads towards healing. And I was just thanking God for that. And I'm like, wow, through everything that I've been through, all of these hard things, all of the struggles in my life, I don't have to hold the weight of that and be like, God, how do I recover from what they did to me? And feel like these lies are being pushed on me and my heart is being shut down and there's nothing I can do about it. There is something I can do about it. Like, no action of anyone else's has eternal consequence on my life and says that I have to respond in a certain way or go down a certain path because of that. Which then is funny because then I was thinking, well, Jesus, thank you that you are the one person that your actions do change me, do make me into something different. That like, your act on the cross changed the course of my life. It changed the course of history forever. And I have to choose to accept that. But you bring healing, irreversible healing into my life through your actions. Whereas other people cannot bring that healing and cannot bring that damage to my life. Only you can affect me that deeply, can change who I am and define my future because of something that you did. Gosh, I never feel like I explain things very well, but I hope that made sense. And then the second thought that kind of went with that was I was randomly reading a book. I think it was like by John Wesley. Long story short, I was just reading this book, okay, because I had nothing better to do for half an hour or something. And there was one part on there where he was talking about how God changes us and like, true godliness is being changed and conformed into the image of God. And again, the sense that God has an effect and an impact on us that no one else can. And he was giving these examples of like, an ugly person doesn't look at a beautiful person and become beautiful. A sick person doesn't look at the surgeon and then become healed. But he was talking about that verse in, I think it's 2 Corinthians, but it says like, we all with unveiled faces contemplate God's glory and are changed into his likeness. Paraphrase. Which is like, yeah, that's so true. Like God changes us in crazy ways that no one else can, and he has an impact and an effect on us that no one else can. It's so crazy, like something that someone else does to me does not define the way that I have to respond to that, whereas Jesus does. And like, I can't look at anyone else or anything else and become like that or become what I want to be. But when we look at Jesus, we turn our eyes upon Jesus, that literally changes us into being like him. And so I don't know, I just thought like that thought from the book was super interesting, and then also how that tied to what I had already been thinking about. So those are my random thoughts. God's pretty cool, and it's just crazy how different of an effect he has on us than anything else in his creation, because everything else is just his creation, but he is our creator. And so of course it makes sense that the ways that he interacts with us are like a level above what anyone else can do, and that he can affect us and affect our souls in ways that no one else can. So hope that was encouraging. Focus on Jesus and become more like him. Goodbye until more thank you for watching, and goodbye until more interesting things happen.